Hey Tyler, Eric here. All right, we'll take a look at your video. I'm going to let it play through at full speed, all right, and then we'll slow it down and break it all down. All right, so let's take a look. So you're starting in the V diamond on those toes, all right? Oops. Let's see if you land on those toes, all right? So make a little wider V when you're practicing from here. It will make it a little easier to land on your toes, but let's take a look here. All right, so that first step, look, right there, right? You land on your toe. I like that one. Now, what we got to do now, right, is start getting you to cover more distance, right? So, all right, you got, foot, 2 foot, right, out there on that first step. Let's start trying to throw our weight land out here, right? Every inch you can cover further in that first step, the quicker you're going to be, right? So I like that first step. Now we just got to get more distance. See if you get that second one. All right, and you can start going for that second step too, right? In a game, it's probably only one or two. So in practice, let's aim for three. Right? Then in a game, one or two just kind of happens without us even thinking about it. All right. Now, first thing I see right here that I really like, I like this arm swing. Right? You're punching it back with those fingers up. That's going to help you generate a lot of momentum. All right. So I really like that. All right. Now, we look at the finish here push right here. All right. That's pretty good full extension right there. Right. And you are starting to keep that toe out. Right. I would like to see us get our toe and our knee to rotate out a little bit more to give you a little more of a pop, but that's not too bad. All right. The biggest thing I see, and we'll look at it here, right? So same thing here on this right leg, right? That's not a complete slip, but let's get that toe and that knee to rotate out a little bit more. All right, give you a little more pop, but again, good full extension. Okay, so your biggest thing here that I notice, is one, right? See how your feet tend to kick up high, right? Remember, we only want those feet to be about an inch off the ice. Okay, so it's almost like they're skimming in. So the lower you can keep your feet, the faster you're going to be able to move them. All right, but then the other thing is, right, look how wide those feet are. Okay, so when we do those drills, drag touch and stride touch, right, the reason we're making you touch those heels so many times is you're training your legs. We got to come in. We got to come in. Right, so you start slow and then you build up the speed. Right, but right, we got to train those legs. They come in eventually at speed. They'll remember to do it, but you got to train them over and over. So I like the finish of your push isn't bad. All right, but again, here you can see how wide those feet are. So let's really focus on the recovery of the push because your arm swing's good, your full extension's good, right? You can see that right foot kicking up high there. See your left foot, yeah, that left foot came up. Sometimes your left foot stays a little bit lower, right? So the biggest thing for you is keeping those feet really low and bringing them back in. So a drill like drag touch, it's going to force you to bring them in and it's going to force you to keep your feet low. Then you progress to stride touch, right? We still have to try and focus on keeping that foot low, right? But you still got to touch those heels, right? And then we'll pick up the pace as we go. All right. So you get the back crossover start, C, X, not a bad X push there, okay? There, all right, not bad, right? CXC, that was a pretty good start right there. All right, now, right here, right? You finish that C cut. That's a pretty good job right there, right? You're locking that C cut. But now look, right here, you're into the next C cut, and look how wide those feet stay. Okay, so remember, right? When you get here, right, the end of the push, you got to repivot that heel, pull it all the way in, right, so that your feet at speed almost touch, right? In practice, we make them touch, but at speed, they're going to be an inch or two apart, right? But when you're practicing it, really focus on pulling that heel all the way around and in. So just like forwards, your legs remember what to do. So we can see, right, what comes the closest is your knee. So you're starting to pull your knee in. You want to really think about not pulling your knees in, but pulling your heel in, okay? So the actual push itself is okay, all right? It's not okay. It's good. Right, get the recovery that's going to allow you to get more right power on the next push because you're going to have more weight on that foot. It's also going to make a bigger C cut, right? Because you can see like right here, there's your C cut, and then because your feet stay wide, that little right there, that's all the push you get on that C cut, right? We start those feet under our body, right? Rather than having this for a push, we'd have this big C cut, right? You're pushing longer, that's going to help you go faster, right? As well as be more efficient. All right, let's look at your crossovers here. Now, I did notice you didn't go top speed on your crossovers, but that's okay, right? Eventually, right, we learn it slower, and then we want to pick it up, right? But I like how you're trying to do it correct now. All right, first thing I see right here, right? If we look at your upper body, okay, you can see right here. See how your shoulders are level? You're keeping your inside shoulder up. You're on your outside foot. What tends to happen is watch. You'll go to your inside foot. See how your shoulders just leaned in and you just dropped your shoulders. So now you're leaning in. So just because you're on your inside foot doesn't mean we can let that upper body all of a sudden now lean in. Okay, so we want that inside shoulder to be up so our shoulders are level and then they stay there. They're stuck. All right. Now, not a bad job right there. That's a pretty good finish to the push, right? You can see how that's not a, right? That's coming off the outside edge of the toe, right? So that's how the finish should look. But if I look there, so we see that little bend in the back of your knee, right? You still had more room to push with to get that full extension, right? Again, right here, perfect upper body. Shoulders are level. You actually even turn it in. I like it. But now you go to your inside foot. Now look at your shoulders. They're different. Right? So we want to have our shoulders, right? No matter what foot you're pushing with, our shoulders are nice and level like that. All right, now we'll get a good look here, right here at your X. So right there, that's what an X push should look like, right? See how our leg is locked, right? Our foot is parallel to the ice. That's a really good X push, right? So now you're going, I would say when I was watching it, half speed, right? Now we need to crank it up a little bit, maybe 60 or 70%, and then 80, and then 90, and eventually we get to top speed. Right, but you'll see on some of them, that one we didn't see. I'll catch you on this side. Right? Yeah, so right at the end here. Right, that one you locked. I'm going to catch you. There's one of them here that you didn't quite lock. All right, it looked like you weren't locking it, but as I slow it down, you are locking that X push, right? You're driving it through, right? That's a pretty good X right there. So I do like your X push. We need to now start going a little bit quicker, right? But look at your upper body here. See how far it's leaning in? So your weight is all on this hip right here, okay? But look where your feet are, way out here, okay? So the reason we're raising that shoulder is to get our weight over this outside hip so your weight is out where your feet are, right? Because your feet are way outside that circle, right? That's where you got to get your weight. So you can always slide this bottom hand up a little bit too. So that way, then you can still keep your stick on the ice, right? But you can get those shoulders level so the weight gets on that outside hip, right? That's a pretty good job here on these crossovers, right? Right, you lock, look right there. That's a good stride push right there, right? You lock it, I like it, right? Good X push, I like it, right? You did a really good job working on your crossovers this week, right? Oh, right here at the end, right when you finish, see how your toe, don't let it come in with that toe down. You want to keep it coming in parallel, right? But now you got to start picking up the pace on those crossovers because that was probably, like I said, half speed. All right, now stop right here. Not bad. Inside, outside edge. I think you can get these feet a little bit wider, okay? The wider you get your feet, think about it like shooting. You're able to transfer your weight, okay? With your feet just a little bit closer when you stop, you can't transfer your weight as much. So when you get going, right, that's as far as you go on that first step, okay? We want you to throw your weight out so your first step starts landing out here, right? The more distance you cover on every step, like I said right at the start, the quicker you're going to be. So you got to launch that weight out to cover that distance, right? And then, right, see here, because you're going from a stop to a start, right? Look at that heel came down, right? So that one we didn't land on our toes. So keep working on those, right, toe starts. Now, let me see. I'm going to catch you on this one because this is the lowest one you're on. So right here, right, we talk a lot about that 90-degree knee bend, right? We all think that we bend our knees 90 degrees, but see how much higher you are? Okay, so as you start bending that front knee more, and I know it's late in the video, it's late in the session, right? So you're getting tired too, right? But as you start bending that knee more, instead of our foot ending up here, maybe it starts ending up out here. You start adding 2 or 3 inches. And then the other thing I noticed, you're at the end of your push. See that slight bend in the back of your knee, right? So partly because you're getting tired too, right? We didn't lock the knee. So if we get that knee to lock, maybe you end up even a little further, another inch, right? Now you've added 3 or 4 inches to the length of that push. Okay, so think about your upper body, right? Right now, see how it's a little bit straighter? If we can get that upper body to lean forward just a little bit more, a little bit steeper angle, that's going to force this front knee to bend more. That's going to lengthen out that stride, okay? All right, yeah, because you stood up here a little bit as you come in. Look how you're getting tired. I caught you on that last one, all right? But hey, not a bad job. You did some great things in that video, okay? All right, I really like the finish of your push, the full extension I was seeing early in the video. We lost it a little bit at the end, right? But really focus on the recovery, pulling those feet in, keeping them low. So drills like drag touch and stride touch, okay? On the backward C cuts, pulling those feet all the way back in, pulling that heel underneath that center of gravity on your crossovers. You did a really good job on the pushes. Now you got to start going a little bit quicker, but don't forget about your upper body, right? We got to keep it nice and level the whole time, right? We don't want it to rock back and forth or be leaning in, right, at certain points, okay? So good job. All right, keep working on it. Hope to see you again soon, Tyler.